Are you an archer or a bow hunter and you're wondering what kind of arrow should I get or what kind should I use? What's the difference between them? Stay tuned to this video and I'll tell you all about it.
I'm an Air Force airman. I am a bow hunter. I am a fisherman. I am Mark of all trades.
Hey guys, welcome to Mark of all trades. I appreciate you guys tuning into the video. If this is your first time, you want to make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the hunting content that I put out. If you've ever seen a slow motion arrow come out of a compound bow or any kind of bow really, you'll see that the arrow kind of flexes whenever it's released. And this is all dependent on the arrow spine of the manufacturer that built the arrow. So there's different kinds of arrows that you can use for your compound bow. Typically, most people don't shoot with wooden arrows because it's just too much impact from the cams that it'll break the wooden arrow. So we have aluminum arrows, which hardly anybody really shoots anymore. And then we also have carbon arrows, and that's what this one is right here. And the carbon arrows actually have a little bit more flex. You can see here that I'm able to bend it, and it's got a little bit more give, and it actually comes back out straight. When we're talking about arrow spine, it's actually the amount of flex that the arrow gives, but you don't want too much flex, but you don't want it to be too stiff. If you're shooting a high poundage bow in a weak spined arrow, your arrow is going to flex a lot. If you're shooting a low poundage bow with a high stiff arrow with a strong spine, it's going to be a very stiff arrow. So the things that go into determining the arrow spine of an arrow is the actual length of the arrow, the draw weight of your bow, and the weight of the tip that is on your arrow that you shoot. When you determine those three things, the manufacturer for each brand of arrow has a different chart. So there's not one that fits all. And you'll have to go to that chart and it'll tell you exactly your poundage versus your draw length and which one will correlate. All right, so here we are on the Carbon Express website, and I scroll down to the second page, and this is the chart that I was telling you guys about. So you can see here on the left-hand side, this is the poundage. So we'll just do my bow, for instance. So right now I'm shooting 65 pounds, so I fall right in here to the 64 to 69, and then my draw length is 27 inches. So then we're going to come down here, and you can see how it meets up. And these are the arrows that they're recommending for me to get. So that's going to fit right into my ideal arrow spine that would fit my bow. And so you can see over here on the right that these are here for the recurve bows. And these are all the draw weights here. So they have a little bit of something for everybody. One of the characteristics that I was telling you about was your draw weight. So it actually depends on how much your draw weight that you're pulling currently. It's not how much your bow has the potential to pull back. So if, let's say, your bow maxes out at 70 pounds, it's not talking about that 70 pounds. For me, I'm shooting 65 pounds. So you actually want to go to 65 if it says it, or 65 to 70 depending on the chart, and that's what you're going to go over. So you want to make sure that you're getting the exact draw weight, because otherwise it could affect how your arrow flies from your bow. You want to make sure that you're picking the right spine, because if you don't, you could be shooting phenomenally, but you're not doing yourself justice because the arrows won't be grouping as they should because it's not flying out of your bow right. Most manufacturers will have the same spine weight, but different grainage of the arrows. So that's one thing that you want to, kind of keep in mind whenever you're going out and looking for arrows. So you could have the same spine, but then if you want to shoot a heavier grain arrow, you can definitely do that. So there's one option for you too. I'm going to break it down a little bit simpler in case this is all really confusing. If the arrow is light, it's going to shoot flat, like it's going to have a straight path. If the arrow is heavier, it's going to have more penetration. So if you're going out like on an elk or a moose hunt, you'll definitely want to shoot that heavier arrow. Some more insight that you might want to think about is the more weight that's at the tip of the arrow, the more the arrow is going to flex. The longer the shaft is, the longer the arrow is, the more it'll flex. So basically, any weight that's put on the ends of the arrow, it's going to make it flex more. Sorry about that, guys. It started raining outside and the audio frequency on the camera just wasn't working out, so I moved this inside. So we'll keep going. When you're talking about your arrow length, you want to make sure that the end of your arrow is past the rest of the riser shelf. So then when you have your hand out on your handle, the broadhead, if the arrow's short enough, won't be into your hand if you're using a fixed head broadhead. If you're using a mechanical, odds are it's not really gonna make that big of a difference, but definitely give yourself at least a ½ inch past the rest of the riser shelf, so then you have that wiggle room to play with and your hand ultimately won't be getting hurt. The arrow that I've been showing you in the video is a Redhead Carbon Fury 6075. And so on these, it's not exactly pinpoint on how I was explaining to you about the arrows before. This is definitely a much cheaper arrow. And so this one basically says that the 60 is the lowest draw weight that you should put on this arrow, and the 75 being the max draw weight that you should definitely shoot at for this arrow. And again, this isn't scientific by any means. This is just a ballpark to get you in the realm of, hey, this arrow will probably work for me, and it's kind of trial and error from that point. So I'm definitely going to have to upgrade my arrows this year, because I definitely want something that's made for my bow and helps me get better groupings when I'm out there shooting. I hope that this video helped you guys in finding out what arrow's best for you and how the arrow systems worked out, and where you can find the charts that help you get the best arrow for yourself. Like I stated in here before, this arrow is not the right arrow for me. I need to actually find the specific one that works for me, and I'm definitely going to do that. And I appreciate you guys tuning into the channel. I definitely love all the support you guys have been giving me. Again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, like the video, and make sure you subscribe so you can catch all the new content that I'm putting out. I'll catch you guys in the next video.